Okay, and final question for today is from Leandri. She is saying, would you mind explaining a little bit more on our emotions, how our emotions can influence our thinking? How can I use emotions to positively influence thoughts? Maybe for someone struggling with body image. I've always looked at this from a cognitive behavior approach, assuming that changing thought will change the emotions. I find it fascinating to approach it from the other side. So fantastic questions. Just excuse me, it's a little bit smoky, so I'm feeling a little bit sneezy. Oh, it's actually very smoky today. Okay, so how can emotions affect thoughts? So just a quick review, overview on thoughts affecting emotions. So when you think a conscious thought, you then ask your subconscious to start looking for evidence of that. And oftentimes, so if we're emotional about something and we think, so for example, let's just say, I'm tired, I'm tired. And you keep saying that to yourself, your subconscious starts looking for times when you are actually tired and starts giving yourself more, starts to give you more to be tired about. It kind of exaggerates the feeling of being tired because you've made this decision about yourself that you're tired. But if you're saying, I'm feeling tired, now you can say, okay, I'm feeling tired. What can I do to nourish myself? Now, how emotions can affect thoughts in that particular scenario is you recognize the emotion, I'm feeling tired. And then you can engage the thought process to say, okay, what do I need to do to not feel tired? And that's the main way of using your emotions to influence your thoughts. Now, there are other times. So let's just say, for example, when we have been having this fire situation here, I got many questions from people, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? What's going on for you right now? And my answer was standard. It's like, I don't have time for feelings right now. We need to get certain things done, and they need to be done in a certain way. And we need to make decisions based on facts, not emotions. And then finally, when you use up all your thinking capacity, because you do at some point, and you just get super tired and you get completely exhausted and you're unable to function, that's when you can harness your feeling of, I want to keep my home safe, and I want to keep my family safe, and I want to keep myself safe. You can harness that emotion and say, okay, what do I need to do next? What is the next task that needs to be done? So you harness that, you kind of go into that feeling space of what is it that I want in my life, and then start thinking about it. So for example, you were talking about the weight or body image situation. So if you have a body image that you feel ashamed of, you can there's this, this may seem a little bit controversial, and I know there's going to be somebody, if we put this video on YouTube, somebody's going to have a problem with me and project onto me their pain points around their body image issues, because body image issue is such a big problem. It's a valid pain point to have. It's just not valid to push your own emotions onto other people as if they're facts. But let's just say that you feel shame around how your body looks, and you, for a really long time, you haven't been focusing on how it looks but how it feels. You've tried to kind of bypass the shame and say, no, I should be okay with how I look, and just focus on how I'm feeling. Now, you might have people, you might have done that for a really long time. You might people who've been doing that for a really long time, and they just can't lose the weight based on how they're feeling, because they're not actually appreciating themselves. They're not prioritizing themselves enough to make those decisions differently. So saying you should focus on how you're feeling, not how you look, is not going to help that person, because that's not going to drive them to go over the line. It's a lot easier to feel good about yourself the better you look, right? And that's why things like those makeover shows can be so powerful, whether it's financial makeover, your house, you get a new house and now you feel financially more secure, and it can almost like jumpstart you into more financial security. The same is true with the body image issue often, is that if you look good and you see yourself looking good, you start feeling better about yourself and you start making better decisions. So I think it would be really short-sighted to continue to say, no, you should just focus on how you're feeling and don't worry about how you look. If that doesn't work for you, you need to change that. Okay, so how you can harness emotions and make them into thinking space is, okay, let's talk about shame. Let's just say you're ashamed of your body. And again, I get that this might be controversial, but hopefully this is actually helpful for those of you who are willing to hear what I have to say. Let's not deny the shame. I am ashamed of how I look. I'm ashamed of it. And this shame is going to trigger me into thinking, what are the things that I can do right now? So on a short term, what are the things that I can do on a medium term? So in the next coming days, and what are the things that I can do in the long term, which is the next coming months, that will help me to not look this way. I'm having excess weight. What can I do right now? I can have a glass of water. Is that doable? Yes, you can have a glass of water, and that's going to help your metabolism. It's going to help you get rid of things. On the medium term, in the next couple of days, what can I do to help myself with my weight? Okay, I could do a 12-hour fast. So I eat at 6 p.m. tonight, and then the next time I'm going to eat is 6 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm going to do that today. And I'm just going to drink water in that 12-hour period. Is it doable? Probably, because you have you're asleep anyway, so you might be able to do that in the next coming days. And what might be a long-term plan that you might do for your weight loss? So just if you look into intermittent fasting, you'll find out why I would recommend something like that on a medium-term goal. On a long-term goal, you might say, hey, once you've done the medium-term goal, and once you've done the glass of water, once you've done the 12 hours, then you might go, long-term, what if I did this every day? What if I did a 12-hour fast, an intermittent fast every day? Is that doable for me? And give yourself a couple of weeks or a couple of months to do it, and give yourself 80% bracket. So if you do it 5 or 6 days out of 7, you're already on your way there. So sometimes a feeling of shame about how your weight can actually prompt you to get the information that you need to get to start feeling healthier, to start feeling lighter, but also to start losing the weight. The big challenge with weight loss is that we don't allow the reason why we gain weight is because we don't allow our bodies to get rid of or either the waste material, the byproduct, of using the energy, or we eat so much sugar that our liver translates it into fats and stores it in our body. So we eat those things that poison us, but that we also don't allow our bodies to get rid of the poison. So we don't do the things that do, in fact, help us. And if you do have a lot of fat in your body, like adipose tissue, I'm not calling anybody fat. I want to be really clear, but physiologically, if you have a lot of adipose tissue, what something like intermittent fasting can help you do is start to use the fat as a source of energy as opposed to the food. So a byproduct of something like that is that you will, feel lighter, because you will be lighter because you're burning fat in order to fuel your body. So if we don't give our bodies breaks from eating, we also don't give them breaks from all the waste material that we're creating, all the fat deposits that come from the sugar that our liver then turns into fat and so on. We need to learn to give our bodies a break and not just go, I'm just going to eat salads for the next year. What is that? That's not you eat salads for the next year and then you still keep eating biscuits every day. That's not going to help your liver to cleanse or to start metabolizing help you metabolize the fat deposits into energy. So don't move away from difficult emotions such as shame, because they can trigger you into thinking, hey, what can I actually do about this? So instead of just accepting I'm feeling shame, so therefore I'm a shameful person. Those are two entirely different things. Your emotions are not who you are. So if you have an emotion of shame, say, I am feeling the emotion of shame, not I am to be ashamed of. They are two entirely different things. So that's how I would harness the power of emotion in relation to a body image issue, for example. But again, it could be any number of body image issues. I was just talking about weight because it's kind of like the easiest one to use when there's no specific example to go with. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that you are getting some ideas from that. Don't move away from difficult emotions. I was having a really hard time the day before yesterday with, a couple of months ago, we had to put one of our horses down, and I'm still having a hard time with it. And it was a really difficult situation, a really difficult decision to make, because, you're making a decision of killing your best friend. But so the night before last, I was feeling like I was a murderer. And if I had moved away from those feelings, I wouldn't be able to get through that pain. It's a part of the grief process, is to accept everything that's happened. And that is, while that it's a part of that, I made that decision to have her put down because it was the best thing for her. So it wasn't just that I'm a murderer. It's also, I have the responsibility for this animal and to make those decisions that are the right things for them. Because a fact of the matter is that if I had stopped giving her all the extra food that I was giving her, all the extra supplements, she would not have survived in nature. And that's a fact. So at some point we have to stop prolonging life for the sake of prolonging life. And we got to that point a couple of months ago. So don't move away from difficult emotions. Face those as you can, as best you can, and give yourself some grace when you can't. It's okay to not be okay. Okay. So thank you for the questions today. If you have some questions for next week, I'm happy to run a Q&A next week as well. I think it's going to be Christmas Day for those of you in the US, North America, Europe, Africa. Happy to do that. Love the work. Good to be back to work. Good to be back home. Thank you everyone so much for this year. Please let me know if this has been helpful. And also some of these videos are going to go on YouTube. So if you found these videos helpful and you think it might help somebody else and they're on YouTube, just go and share those videos from there. If you feel like you know a person who's into their personal development journey and want to keep it real, want to keep it 100, want to really do this thing, then you can invite them to be part of our wonderful group on Facebook. And yeah, thank you so much for today. It's been great spending this time with you. Thank you for all your questions. If I don't see you before, have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Great holiday season, whatever your denomination is. And we will continue. The work will always continue. I'll talk to you soon.